Mic check. Mic check 1 2. Let's do this. Domestic players versus passport Johns. MinisterJap versus Aaron BMT Farris. Who you got? Who is really winning in love and life? Let's take a look at that for a second. Now, we have this passport movement, this travel movement, that women are not as good in the US. This matrix concept, this neo matrix concept that a lot of men, and I'm not going to even say black men created this, but men in general has all of a sudden, but black men use the hell out of the matrix, have created this talking point that women in the US are so horrible that they have to travel, they have to get on a plane and go over to another country to find love, which they're not even finding love. 80% of the time, they're not even finding love. That's the strange thing that bewilders me. I can see if a brother is going, you can go to the end of the earth. If you're looking for love, go. Find your love. Find your soulmate. I will never knock a man for that. But for the most part, these guys are traveling across the globe just to be passport Johns. They're not looking for love. So I'm trying to figure out what's the big deal of bashing American women or even talking about the matrix. It doesn't even make any sense if you're just going over to be a passport John. But yet they say they're winning in life. You have the domestic players, and then you have the passport Johns. Let's break this down. Passport Johns, they're able to travel around the world. They're, in most cases, they're not finding love. They're just going to country, smashing, having a good time. You know, almost like a rap video. You know, and then they have to come back over to the U.S. and they have to deal with women over in the U.S. or don't deal with women at all. Whereas the domestic Johns, they stay at home and they get whatever they want, you know, without even going overseas. They can travel if they want to, and probably even do better than the passport Johns. But yet they get whatever they want in state, and they don't even have to travel. Life is the same with them. They can travel or they don't have to travel. The passport Johns, for some reason, they have to travel. If they don't travel, they're not happy. They have to get up and get on the plane and leave. If they don't get up and get on the plane, they end up killing people. That's what they say. They end up murdering people, doing drive-bys and murder-suicides and all kind of crazy shit. But the domestic player, he just goes on with his daily life. You know, he gets a girl, he don't get a girl, he falls in love, he falls out of love. You know, he has a family, he don't have a family, and he can get up and he can go travel if he wants to. He can get a passport just like the other guy can, the passport John. The passport John thinks that nobody else can travel. The passport John thinks that if someone talks about him bragging on having sex with hookers, they're hating. The passport John says that the reason why you're talking about him is that you can't travel. That's his biggest defense. But the domestic player, his argument is that no one cares about you traveling. I mean, that's a good thing. Enjoy yourself. Knock yourself out. But stop bragging on banging hookers. Stop bragging on how great women are in these other countries, hyping these women up when they're no different than the women in the U.S. They're not as pretty. They're not as educated. They're not as domesticated. I mean, all these women are pretty much the same. I mean, look at the picture. You got a chick from Brazil, and then you got a chick from the U.S. The chick from the U.S. could pass for a Brazilian chick. I mean, just looks just as good, if not sexier. A lot of guys will jump on the U.S. chick before they jump on the the Brazilian chick. I mean, these women are the same, and you have to know Portuguese to really, be able to talk to the Brazilian girl if you really want to get in good with her. Unless she's a hooker, and then you only really need the U.S. dollar, I guess. But there's no difference. If I had to take a really good guess, I would say the domestic players are winning in life because they don't have to travel. It's a luxury to them. The passport Johns, they have to travel. They have to get out of the country. If they don't get out of the country, they're miserable. They're absolute miserable. And pretty much they're incels when they're inside the U.S. But when they get outside the U.S., then they're a whole different person. But while they're inside the U.S., they're nothing but incels. Frustrated because they can't deal with women. Oh, they don't have the soft skills to deal with women when they can easily develop it. Traveling is a great thing. Traveling is broadening your horizon. But the passport John, he really doesn't care about the culture, bringing anything of value to the country. He tells you he does, but he's really there just to party and use up the women. If that's what he wants to do, then hey, he's paying his money, he's a tourist, have fun. But the passport John is very deceptive. That's the thing about the passport John. The passport John wants you to believe that his life is great. But his life isn't great. He's banging hookers. He has to worry about being robbed. He has to be looking over his shoulder every 5 minutes because he don't know if somebody's trying to set him up because he's a foreigner in a foreign land and he's out there searching for women or trying to have a good time. So his guard is going to be down. I mean, you can't have a good time if your guard is always up, if you're always tense and looking around and nervous. You got to relax. But the domestic player, he's going to enjoy himself inside the country and outside the country. When he's inside the country, he's having a good time, smoking cigars, drinking, having sex with women. And then when he goes overseas, it's probably even better for him because he's used to being able to talk to women. He can not only can he pull hookers, he can pull regular girls. And in most cases, he might prefer regular girls over hookers because he's not used to dealing with hookers in his own country. But he can do both, hookers and regular girls. So I want you guys to leave a comment in the comment section if you guys are domestic players or you passport Johns. I don't see anything wrong with being a passport John. If you're a passport John, you're a passport John. And for you guys that don't know what a passport John is, let me get a quick definition of a passport John. A passport John is a person that travels overseas and has sex with hookers. If your sexual diet is at least 50% hookers when you overseas, if your sexual, we're gonna call it sexual diet. If your sexual diet is 50% hookers At least 50% hookers when you overseas, wherever you at. I don't care what country you in, obscure country you in. You're a passport John. Now, what is a domestic player? A domestic player is a guy that he's just a regular dude that dates in the U.S. You know, he dates, he hangs out, he just a regular dude. You know, he gets girls, you know, cute, ugly, tall, short, whatever. You know, he doesn't necessarily have to go to another country to find love or have sex with women. He's comfortable in his own country. That's what a domestic player is. So you guys leave a comment in the comment section. This should be an interesting topic for you guys. And I'm out.